E-L-L-S-M-I-T-H.
Thank you. If you raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
And sir, where are you currently employed?
The Oakland County Sheriff's Office.
In what capacity?
I am a detective at our Rochester Hills substation.
How long have you been employed in that particular capacity?
About a year.
And how long have you been with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office?
4 years.
And prior to your employment with the Sheriff's Office, did you have any other law enforcement experience?
4 years with the Detroit Police Department.
Did you say Detroit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to direct your attention to October 17th, 2024. At that time, did you go down to Cato Parish in Louisiana?
I did, sir.
And what made you go there?
That is where one of the suspects from a homicide that occurred here in Rochester Hills was arrested.
And did you go there by yourself or with somebody else?
With a partner, Detective Weigman.
And how did you travel there?
We flew down there.
So you and Detective Weigman flew down there to Cato Parish?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was that on the 17th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you speak to the person that you went there to see?
I did.
Okay. And was that person Carlos Hernandez?
It was.
And the person you spoke with that day, is that person in the courtroom today?
He is.
Can you please point to him, identify him by something that he's wearing?
He's sitting right here wearing the orange jumpsuit.
Yeah,
The larger gentleman wearing the orange jumpsuit.
thank you. Your Honor, let the record reflect in court that he's been made Mr. Hernandez.
The record will reflect that defendant Hernandez has been identified.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you went down there with Detective Weigman to interview him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you able to interview him?
We were.
Okay. And where did that take place at?
At the Caddo Parish Jail.
Okay. And when you met with Mr. Hernandez, did he agree to speak with you?
He did.
Okay. And did you advise him of his Miranda rights at that time?
We did, yes, sir.
Did he say he understood those?
He did.
Did he agree to waive those?
He did.
And then you, Detective Weigman, and Mr. Hernandez had a conversation?
We did, sir.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you guys discuss?
Excuse me, Your Honor, before the witness answers that question, I just want to put on the record my objection under the Bruton rule, United States versus Bruton, any statement made by Mr. Hernandez to the detective that inculpates my client not be regarded or not to be considered by the court because it's hearsay nature.
People are aware of that. I believe the court will be able to differentiate between these two statements, and I don't think there should be any issues with that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Very good. I just asked it. Keep that in mind.
And again, what did you guys discuss?
We discussed the incidents that happened here involving a homicide.
And did you explain to him that you were from Oakland County Sheriff's Office?
We did, yes, sir.
And did he know why? Did he say he knew why you guys were here to talk to him?
He did.
And what did you guys discuss about that with the homicide?
We discussed, he stated that he was unhappy with how the media was portraying him and that he did not do what the media was saying. He stated that he could prove that he didn't do these actions via an insurance policy.
Did he explain to you what this insurance policy was?
Sort of. He said he had recordings of a conversation on his phone and he had items in a black bag located in his vehicle, but he would not go into detail as to what those were exactly.
And did you confront him or show him anything regarding the Ring videos?
We did.
And describe what happened with that.
He at first denied being at the residence, but after being told that we had him on Ring doorbell footage, he stated he was there.
So he described himself, that person you saw in the Ring video, that was him?
Yes.
Okay. What, if anything, else did you guys discuss?
There was a handgun missing from the scene. We asked him what happened to the handgun. He stated that he never had the handgun and was not sure what happened to it, but he believes that it was sold.
So while you're talking, he admits that there was a handgun there. He just didn't have it with him. It might have been sold.
Correct.
Did you and Mr. Hernandez talk about anything that was taken from that residence?
We spoke about cell phones, which were also taken from the residence. He stated that the cell phones were discarded from his vehicle while driving along a highway in Michigan, but he was not sure what highway or where.
So he admitted to having the cell phones from that location?
Yes, sir.
Did he say if he knew Mr. Zazo at all?
Yes, he did.
And what did he say about that?
He stated they've been friends since childhood.
And did you guys discuss about any items that were located at the scene that day? Did you discuss any of those things with Mr. Hernandez?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. And did you ask Mr. Hernandez about Miss Murray at all?
We did.
And what did he say about Miss Murray?
We asked him who tied Miss Murray up. He stated that he did not tie her up, and that Joshua was the one who tied her up. We also asked him who struck Miss Murray. He stated he did not remember Miss Murray being struck.
So he admits to Mr. Zazo tying him up and not himself.
Correct.
Did you guys discuss anything regarding DTE?
We did. I asked him where the DTE, I guess we'll call it equipment and paperwork, came from. He stated that there was a third-party individual who provided them with the Murray's address and also provided them with the DTE equipment and paperwork.
So he informed you guys there was a third party involved regarding that potentially?
Correct, regarding, yes, sir.
And then did you discuss anything about any of the information you have regarding Lowe's or Home Depot?
We did. We asked him why they went to Lowe's. He stated that Joshua wanted to purchase zip ties from Lowe's.
And then would that be a fair representation or account of the conversation that you and Mr. Hernandez had on that day?
Yes, sir.
And after speaking with Mr. Hernandez, what did you do next?
The next day, we obtained evidence from the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office. We took custody evidence and drove it back here to Oakland County, where it was then logged by Detective Downey.
And based on your knowledge at the time, that was evidence that was obtained when Mr. Hernandez got arrested?
Yes, sir.
Right. And when you obtained that evidence from that police agency, were they in bags or how was that marked?
They were all packaged and sealed in bags with a brief description of the items in the bags written on the bag.
And you and Detective Wiegman took that back to Oakland County?
Yes, sir.
And how did you do that?
We drove back.
You and Detective Wiegman drove back?
Yes, sir.
That was the next day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you dropped that off to the evidence of the sheriff's office?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall briefly what any of the items were that were
There were various clothing items. There was a hat, a couple masks, shirts, pants, a pair of shoes, pair of boots, jewelry, a hammer. I'd have to refresh my memory if you want anything more than that.
Do you have anything with you that would refresh your memory?
I do have my report right here, yes, sir.
Can you go ahead and take a look at that? And once you're done reading that, if that refreshes your memory, just look at me and I'll ask that question again. Did that refresh your memory?
Yes, sir.
Right. And briefly, do you recall what some of those items were that were marked as evidence?
We had some DTE gear as well that was brought back. We took buckle swabs of Carlos's DNA that was also brought back. There were some cell phones brought back.
And lastly, when you were interviewing Mr. Hernandez, did you ask him why only Mr. Murray was killed that day?
We did, yes, sir.
What was his response?
When we asked him why only one victim was killed, he became irate and yelled something along the lines of, "What do you mean, why did we kill only one? It wasn't supposed to go down like that."
Thank you. I have no further questions.
I didn't hear the last part of what he said.
He said something along the lines of, "What do you mean, why was only one killed? It wasn't supposed to go down like that."
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any questions, Sam?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, ma'am.
Did you and your partner go down to the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Department to interview my client, or were you going there for evidence collection only?
So we initially went for evidence collection, and once we arrived, we were informed by the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office that Carlos had made statements stating that he wished to speak with us.
Okay. And in your report, you stated that you had been advised previously that Carlos was asked if he wanted to make a statement from the arresting officers, and he declined. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you recall what time of day your interview with Mr. Hernandez took place?
I believe it was in the afternoon sometime. I'm not sure the exact time.
Do you recall the length of the interview?
It was probably about an hour.
Do you recall in that interview, either yourself or your partner asked my client if he had any mental health issues, and he disclosed that in fact he did have a pretty significant diagnosis?
I
Correct?
do, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And he did tell you that he was not medicated or he wasn't taking his medication, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. and it was your decision and your partner's decision at that time that you would continue the interview based on his answers. Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you agree with me that throughout that 1 hour interview that my client repeatedly, when you asked him questions, repeatedly says, if you get me in front of a prosecutor, I'll give you the information.
Yes,
or
ma'am.
get me a prosecutor, I want to talk to a prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you continued the interview after he repeatedly made those comments, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you touched on this briefly when the prosecutor asked you, I think one of his final questions. My client also repeatedly says that it wasn't supposed to go down like this. It wasn't supposed to happen, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that was in relation to Mr. Murray losing his life, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no questions for this witness. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, you can leave. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.